Well, hello there, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to traders around the world. Welcome to your Trading with Z morning. I hope folks are doing very well. Looking forward to giving you a little pre-market intelligence briefing, trading live with you from 9:30 to 11, and then doing a after the battle debrief from 11 to 11:30. Looks like we are good to go. Let's get confirmations in the chat that AV is all good on your side. And we're going to get the show on the road momentarily. It's a risk-off morning in terms of the rest of the world. With respect to North America, we already had our risk-off yesterday. The market's trying to claw its way back up. It's not in great shape at this moment in time, but if you look at the percentage change performance day over day, the S&P is actually up about 0.1% at this moment in time relative to yesterday's close. The Nasdaq is the one that's worse for wear. Of course, it's being affected by the crash and limit down in South Korea, the continued geopolitical mess that we're in. The Nasdaq is down about 0.7% as I speak right now, but the ES is actually holding up. And if we take a look at things like oil, for example, it's on the back foot, which is good for the market. It's not down tremendously, about 0.2% roughly. So oil being down, the S&P holding up, the Nasdaq being pulled down by sentiment that is more rest of world. Well, we've got some issues still to work through. So a very good morning, a good afternoon, good evening to traders around the world. Everything that I do and say here is for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor or representative. You must consult yours before making any trading decisions. Trading involves risk, not just reward, risk of loss. Trade with money you can wholly afford to lose. When I trade, it's always in line with my risk trading plan, which is unique to me and might not be suitable to you. Consult your registered financial advisor and get a risk trading plan. Now, when I discuss past trades taken, do live trades in front of you, come up with plans and projections for future potential trades, whether I'm doing so with respect to a live cash account, a demo account, or a prop trading account, I'm doing it all for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. Finally, if I poll you in the chat and I give you an average response back to that poll, the sentiment there is not necessarily indicative of the sentiment of the entire group, just those responding. I don't audit the chat, so do take that stuff as anecdotal. All right, I think we are all good to go. A very good morning to everyone writing in, Yvonne, and everyone writing in over here, from Freddie to George, Kurt, Ray, Gerardo, Frank, Ron D, Mike R, Ray B, who else? Nathaniel, Naveed, Mark S, Tom A, Tom L, Christian. Good morning to everyone. Now it's too many names. Sabransu, good morning to you as well. Very good morning, Bill. Good morning, Manny. Good morning, Joseph. Hey there, Nick. Nice to see you, Nick C. All right, folks. Hey, Fuad. Good morning to you. I hope folks are doing very well. Looking forward to navigating markets here with you. Let's get right into it then, folks. Okay. So I hope folks, are going to brace themselves and save some dry powder for tomorrow and Thursday, because hey there, Donna. Hey there, Charbel. Hey, Stephen B, Eric M, and to everyone writing in. Oh my goodness, everyone's going to write in now because I can say their name, right? So I'm looking very much forward to trading here with you. I'm looking forward to giving you my insight. So let's go do it. Good morning, Erica. All right. I hope folks are doing well. And I hope that you're saving your dry powder for tomorrow and Thursday. We do have a lot more activity in the market tomorrow with the Fed and, of course, Microsoft and Meta after the bell tomorrow. And then on Thursday, Apple, Amazon, and I think MasterCard as well presents tomorrow on Thursday. So let's go and take a look at the market from the top down. So I want to make it short, sweet, and as clean as I can over here. So we're going to start off with the forces that can affect the market. The forces, okay? So let's go. So here we are. What you're looking at right now is something that tugs at the market. It's the euro and the dollar. It's at a standstill. But if you look at the shape of the behavior, it's coming up off of a low. The euro is trying to rise and keep a lid on the dollar. That's a good sign to allow an oversold bounce to take place. Fact number one, insight number one. Okay, let's go to number two over here. Let's go take a look at whether or not gold and silver are taking that cue. If they are, it strengthens fact number one. And the answer, unfortunately, is no. Silver is down 2.1%. What about gold, which can hold on to more fear premium? It's a no as well. So insight number one is, yeah, the euro is trying to get off the mat, keep the dollar suppressed, but we don't see precious metals traders running to that area as a way to manage their purchasing power parity. It's giving us a mixed signal. It's not giving me everything that I'd want to know to say that this oversold bounce is going to be smooth and we're going to go up. We're probably going to face resistance and get batted down several times. That's what the insight is now. Let's move from here to oil. So oil at this moment in time is below a line that it needs to stay below, which is a good thing. It's down about 1% at this moment in time. You can see that in the top left-hand corner of the screen, down 0.98%. And it needs to stay effectively below $82 and about a quarter to keep the faith that geopolitics are not going to be as nasty as they have been in last week's market, for example. This week we saw oil gap down to start off the week. Markets gap up, but the NASDAQ still faced pressure, filled its gap and then some, dragged the S&P down. And now the next insight really is if we've got geopolitics cooling off, we've got risk off coming from the other side of the earth, South Korea in particular, emerging markets overall. You can look at the EWY ETF, for example, is down like 5-6% at this stage. Emerging markets ETF, EEM's down 2.5%. That's weighing heavy on the NASDAQ, obviously, because it's AI and semiconductor related. Let's go and take a look at now how the NASDAQ is doing on a day-over-day basis. So here's your NASDAQ chart. This chart goes back to October of 2022. The center of the channel is why I keep bringing this up. We are priced below the center of the channel. So that's dangerous. So even though we've got a euro that's trying to get off the mat, not corroborated by precious metals getting any shinier, it's still trying to get off the mat. It's trying to suppress the dollar. That can help support an oversold bounce in the market, but the NASDAQ's not above a waterline that really gives it some wings. So this is still a very dangerous market for downside risk. What happens tomorrow with the Fed and whether or not Mag 7 stocks pick sentiment up, well, we'll deal with, of course, tomorrow. We have to get through the day today, and the day today is starting off with a NASDAQ down, an S&P indecisive, a euro that's trying to suppress the dollar, but we're not seeing confirmation of that with precious metals. And of course, we've got oil supporting the idea that geopolitics are cooling off, but the market didn't care about it yesterday. Seemingly, the NASDAQ does not care about it as much today. Now look at where price is on this daily chart of the NQ. It's below the center of that longer term channel. The longer term channel center value at this stage is sitting at 28,135. If there's any number that you remember from this market morning, that's the one, 28,135. If we're able to surmount that number, we've got a better chance for oversold bounce to take place, risk on move in the market to come into play, and for the NASDAQ to get back on its feet. Right now, it's put its swim shorts on, it's gone diving. It's put its scuba gear on, it's gone diving. It's not at the lows, but it has made lower lows versus yesterday's session lows, and it is below 28,135. Let's go and zoom in on the 5-minute chart and see if we can establish a pattern here. So you can see that I put a channel on the behavior here, going back to the highs that we had on the 22nd of June. Okay, so it's in a downward sloping channel, and the insight is it's at the bottom of this channel. This is a 2 standard deviation linear regression channel. What typically happens when we get to the bottom? Well, we can see what happened here. We can see what happened here. We can see what happened here. And now we're back here. Now, this time is a little different. Perhaps, we're clinging to the bottom of the channel a little longer. And there's risk of it, of course, breaking and us spilling lower. Where are we going if we cannot get back up above 28,135? We're headed down to the DeMark support 1 weekly pivot level as the likely outcome. 27,670 would be that target or lower. Okay, so 28,135, that's the challenge line to get above. We're not there right now. We're at 27,965 at this moment. If we cannot hold the bottom of the channel, which is roughly at 28,000, okay, it's roughly at 28,000. If we can't get back above the bottom lip of the channel, we're likely going to make a beeline down to 27,671. I don't think it's going to be a straightforward breakdown short and then the market just keeps going down. I think there are some cues that support the idea of an oversold bounce. I don't think that oversold bounce is going to be successful as of yet. We just don't have the features in the market supporting it at this moment, nor do we have the technical signals. What we do have is the S&P E-minis that can act like a bit of a ballast to offset and pick up some of the slack from the NASDAQ. So here's the S&P E-minis long-term channel. It's holding above the center of its long-term channel center. Let's go zoom in on the hard right edge of this chart. Here it is. So there's the S&P E-minis, indecision candle. There's the center of its channel. If it's going to come down and break down, coming down below, pardon me, coming down below 73.96, 73.95 in that area, that would really open the door for more downside risk overall. So what I'm looking at right now is a reversal tail akin to yesterday, akin to a few days ago. Pardon me, it looks like I have a frog in my throat. I think I need some water here. My apologies. Okay, that's a bit better. So what I've got on tap over here from the S&P E-mini standpoint is a marketplace that's holding things up. So that is a positive. But again, the technical signals overall are really quite leaning to the downside. Let's go and take a look at them together at this moment in time. So here we go. When we take a look at the NASDAQ on a day-over-day basis, and we're headed into the open, so I want to get things all queued up here. We're in a pattern called the PTC pattern, the pre-trade conditioning pattern, where you have at least 3 triangles from the Triple S tool. We've got more than that here. We're left with a down triangle, and then we need to see 2 bars below the bottom of the channel or 1 bar with the double red dots. We have both. So we're in a high probability sell down pattern, but we're also in a week where the historical pattern has been run up, hold up, or run up into the Mag 7 stock earnings, then fall over. And now, based on the negatives that are happening in the AI world and semiconductor world, across the world here, that might not be the case this go around. We might need to simply see the earnings to see if that can pick things back up. Bottom line right now, we're below 28,000, which is the bottom lip of that channel. We're in a sell signal state on the daily chart. And if we are to get anywhere, that's material, we know we need to get back above 28,135. On the daily chart, take a look at where that fast speed line is, that cyan line. It's sitting at 28,243. So just even getting above the center of that channel, that long-term channel, doesn't quite do the job to really stabilize anything. It's just a temporary, benefit to the market. Getting above the fast speed line, getting above the slow speed line, which is sitting at 28,530 points roughly, that then starts to tell us that we're in a counter trend bounce that can last a day, 2, maybe up to 3. Now, we're in a sell signal state on the daily chart. We're below the 28,000 marker as of the first 45 seconds of trade. Here's the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart's in a sell sequence that has resumed. So we've got a breakout forecaster on the 10 p.m. Eastern Time 4-hour bar and on the 2 a.m. Eastern Time 4-hour bar. Price action right now is trying to get back above the fast speed line on the 4-hour chart. It's not done a great job of it as of yet. And again, 28,000, 28,135, 28,250 would be the 3 challenge levels above. If we're not going to get going above, we know that we're headed down towards that DeMark support 1, weekly pivot line, and that weekly pivot line resides in the 27,670 area. So right now it's negotiating. It's trying to figure out what it wants to do when it grows up. And the signals are still quite negative. We're down at 27,905 at this moment. Let's just take a look at that hourly chart at this moment in time. The hourly chart is probably the most important from a day trader standpoint. It projects out the next 3 to 6 hours, and we're below the speed lines at this moment. Let's go and see if there are any numbers that are coincident with the numbers I've provided you already. So the speed lines are oscillating in and around the 955 area. So that would be an interesting challenge line to get above. If we get back up above that 955 area, we may have the chance to get above 28,000 and then 28,135 and then 28,250. Those would be the numbers that we need to get above. Right now, it's not having it. So I might want to start shorting the market, imminently here. We are breaking down from the weakened buy signal state on the 5-minute chart. We're trying to convert over to a sell. So I'm going to flip us over to a 1-minute chart right now. And I don't want to shorten the whole. We're already in a sell signal state, but I'm going to start it off with a very small size. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens. I wanted to hit the sell button. I hit the buy button. I'm going to flatten that trade out right now. Just want to make sure it's executed, and I'm going to close that trade right now. And of course, we're going to flip that to the sell side in just a second here. Looks like it still made some profit, interestingly enough. Maybe that's an omen for directionality, but it's a very pervasive sell signal state that we're in, and the 5-minute chart's converted to sell. The hourly chart is below its structures that are important. So in fact, I'm going to bring the hourly chart up and put it on the side over here so we can have that in hand. We want to know, where those speed lines are, and they'll change as time and price move forward. I also want to bring out the 5-minute chart, and I want to put that in here. So I'm going to have 3 charts side by side for today. I hope it doesn't add too much stress, to your experience here. But I want to have all 3 on there so that I can make a better choice. Right now, we're deeply oversold. I didn't reshort the market. My initial trade was actually a misfire long. It ended up being profit positive, and that was just a misfire and a whatever. Nothing to really talk about there. What I want to do now is really assess whether or not we can get above structures, or are we going to stay below structures to decide on the direction I want to trade. I think the obvious decision. Look, it's short, but is obviously wrong at this moment in time? Are we in a counter trend bounce? Is the market trying to pick itself back up? I don't think I've got enough of the goods to support that. No, we're still below the speed lines on the hourly chart. We're converting to a sell signal state on a 5-minute chart. Triple S is breaking down into the lower half of its channel, and we're at the bottom of the channel, suggesting uber bearishness on a 1-minute chart. So I'm not seeing anything right here that really gives me lots of legs to go. I'm going to just reduce some of the stress on my system. It looks like I'm still having some issues with the way that we're broadcasting here, but I've tried to reduce things right there. Maybe that will take some stress off the system. What I want you to really focus in on now is directionality. And I'm going to ask you a question very simply. Do you think that the market is about to bounce and go up? Number 7 in the chat. Do you think we're going to follow up with a continued move down that takes us down into the 27,600s? Vote with the number 6. So 7 for up, 6 for down. Share in the chat and let me know. And then I'll communicate that back once I've got enough folks out there responding. And again, to all those that are logging in now or just recently logged in, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Looking forward to trading markets here with you. So at this moment in time, I'm seeing an oversold bounce start to form. I'm going to try a little high risk long scalp. Of course, I want to be in the position for more than 10 seconds. I need to make sure my position timer is on. Yep, it's on. That's good. So my position timer's up there. Okay, so there it is. Right there it is. So you can see the 10 seconds have passed. It's a very high risk trade. If we're going to have an oversold bounce and the momentum is going to whipsaw right back around, this would be the time for that to happen. And let's see if it does. It looks like it's profit positive at this stage. So I like profit. I want to make sure that I keep some of that profit. So I'm going to try to keep some of that profit. Looks like I'm going to keep a whopping $5.50 of that profit, but still profit positive. And over the 10-second marker for FFF. Now, I'm just looking through the chat, and I'm trying to get a sense of what folks are saying. It's a very divided vote, by the way. And it leans, let me just do a count here. It leans 55-45 to down. 55-45 to down. Okay? So, here we are. We're well below the speed lines on the hourly chart. We're in a sell signal state now that's confirmed with the Triple S tool, and we've got the champion trend pack sell zone. The champion trend indicator is coming on the 5-minute chart. We're already in a sell signal state on a 1-minute chart, and it's getting a little hairier at this stage. I want to just make sure that we are good to go. And I, of course, want to help those that are trading the ES around as well. The ES is not as motile. It might actually be able to pick up some of the slack from the NASDAQ, as we were discussing earlier. So it's moving in a different direction than the NQ, which makes things a little complicated. The ES, 5-minute bar is green. The 5-minute bar on the NQ is red at this moment in time. The ES is trying to move up. The NQ is dragging it down. So, it is definitely a very divergent start to the market morning, indeed, without too many questions at all. But the NASDAQ is clearly still shortable. And I'm wondering if I should join that short at this moment in time, or are we too deeply oversold? Is this going to be like yesterday, where we just take the signal and down we go? We've got the pre-trade conditioning pattern on the 1 minute chart. One down, one up, one down. We've already seen two sequential bars below the bottom of the channel. We've got the double red dots. So at this stage, I can use the tactic of a back test of falling resistance or a lower low and try to enter into a short. And I also want to be mindful of what the ES is telling us, right? So here's the S&P E-minis. I'll focus in on the 5 minute chart here for you. And you can see that we are in a sell signal state that's confirmed as of the first bar. Second bar is trying to pick itself back up. Okay, it's not having a great time doing so, but it's trying to pick itself back up. When I look at the triple S indicator, we're closer to the oversold mark and we're in an upward sloping channel. And you can see that cross is trying to happen. If the triple S line gets above the center of the channel, the ES is firmer and it can help pick up the NASDAQ. So I want to be aware of that. But the NASDAQ, again, has got its own mind at this stage, and it still does not want to get off the mat. Now, remember where we're headed down to potentially if we continue to see the selling continue. I'm going to join a small short right now because I'm not seeing it abate, and I'm seeing the ES now join direction with the NQ. So it's moving down now. It's at 74.38 at this moment, and the ES loses its footing below 74.32. Okay, so right now I've decided to short the NQ. I'm seeing the ES join that direction. I'm not seeing success on the initial trade. I'm not seeing success just as of yet, but I'm below the speed lines. Double red dots are there. We're in stage 3 of a sell sequence, and I'm trading it with a small size at this moment. So I'm willing to maintain the trade at this moment in time. And again, the overall vote from folks that responded, to the question that I asked, 6 for down, 7 for up, it was a 55-45 lean to down. Okay, so it was a bit of a split vote. It was a bit of a split vote. Okay, for those who are in this trade, is there an opportunity for more downside? Yes. Do I want to take profit as we move down in pieces? I do. Now, my goal is to present to you as many entries, re-entries, management decisions along the ride. So I've just presented you with a entry, successful, profit positive, and I've exited to take profit. That doesn't mean I don't want to re-enter the trade. Okay, what I'm mindful of is the interplay between the major indices here, and I am seeing the ES again trying to pick up the slack for the NASDAQ, and you're getting a little bit of an oversold bounce. So I got out in, the nick of time, and let's see if we can continue to reshort this if it wants to fall back down below this breakout forecaster here at around 27,838. So give me a second here. I want to see if I can reduce the load on my system a little bit more. to enter on the breach of the low. It's obviously a breakdown, so it can snap back up still, but we've opened the door for more downside. That's the whole point, right? So if we've opened the door for more downside, I'm willing to continue playing in that direction because it's aligned with the signals. If I want to play a bounce back up, I would need to see a violent reversal come in. And we have to be mindful of when data can come in, et cetera, et cetera. But you saw me take the entry at the right time. You can see it's profit positive, and you can see me locking in profit on this trade again. So here, I got out of the way before the reversal green bar. And then I waited patiently for price action to either backtest, a resistive structure and bounce down. But because it backtested and breached a breakout forecaster, I waited for it to come down and break below the low. It did. I took the trade there and I locked in profit. Now, this move may continue on without me over here. We're at 27,740. We're headed down to 6 kind of where can I re-enter? Now, for those that are on the ES, I've already communicated 74.32 is the number, right? We're well below it. We're at 74.24 at this moment in time. And of course, ATR students, you've got your key down from here. Now, the question mark is, can a resumption short come into play imminently here? Again, we're getting a little bit of a green bar. Is it really engendered by the ES driving the bus back up? Not really. Slightly. It's not significant. So I'm not seeing that, be the real causal. Both of the indices are moving slightly higher. The thing to note is that the ES is coming down to a major support area. The Nasdaq's broken it, right? On the hourly chart, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you got the hourly chart poking out over there, right? The lows over here, they've been cooked. They're done, right? They're broken. We've deviated well below them, right? 100 points plus. It's not the same thing for the ES. The ES is actually trying to come down to test the same sort of low on the hourly chart. So if you look at it on the hourly chart, there's where it sits, right? It's coming down to try and test it. This should be seen as support. Now, will it hold? Signals say probably not. Oversold condition says there's some potential for it. So, be mindful as price comes down to about 74.20, 74.18 in that area. We want to be careful with shorts. We're at 74.28 at this moment in time. While price remains below 32, there is a better chance that we're going to see it come all the way down to effectively where the tails are of the candles here and here. So 74.18, 74.17, somewhere in that area wouldn't be off base. And the NASDAQ at this stage, is going to probably make another. So I missed my re-entry by sharing insight on the ES, but there was another re-entry very similar to the re-entry that I had right there. So apologies that I missed it, but there it is, right? It was available. I'm not going to chase it at this stage, but I also want to know whether or not I should get in for the move down to the target area, or are we just going to hit the target right away? We're 20 points away, 15 points away from the target. The target is 27,671. That's one of the major targets that I identified for you in advance. So for those that are still in shorts right now, we will very likely hit that number, right? We're about 9 points away at this moment in time. And what I want to know is who got the short? Were you able to capture it? Were you able to get profit out of it? Were you able to lock it in, right? If you have been, give me a lucky number 7 in the chat and let me know. Share that with me because that was a pretty good run. I gave you 3 specific entries on the way down, right? They all seemingly worked out fairly well. And, again, my goal, again, is to help those that are not in, that are in with management, and, of course, coming in and re-entering or adding as they see fit. And effectively, all I'm doing is adding in that extra insight with live actual trades. All right. So let's continue on. So we've hit the number. Now we have to figure out where's the next number that I can get down to. So I do need to open up another layout here. So bear with me for a second to do that. I closed a bunch of layouts, and now I'm reopening some, so as to make the operations a little smoother. So there might be a little glitch in the video and screen feed for a moment, but bear with me while I get that work done. So what I want to establish now using volume profile and levels is where's the next destination. The obvious for me is the bottom of the weekly pivot range, but is there something in between? The bottom of the weekly pivot range for the NQ is sitting at 27,467. Let's just call it 27,000, 470 for ease of communication. And the interesting part is we've come right to the pivot level that I described to you, literally right to it, perforated it, and we're holding support right at that pivot level. Just to be very, very clear, for those who are not here in the pre-market briefing, what you heard from me were specific things. We need to get above 28,000, which is the bottom of the channel, to have any chance of getting above the center of the very long-term channel, which is located at 28,135. Neither nor happened. I said, if we can't do that, we're likely headed down here first. And this is DeMark support 1 weekly pivot level superimposed on the daily chart at 27,671. We came down to it. We came slightly below it. The low has been 658 and 3 ticks. And we're actually bouncing up off of it. Is it worthy of a long? I think the risk is too high. I don't think that we know that we're turning just as of yet, but it's very, very interesting. You saw it in advance from me as well on the ES, right? You saw it in advance from me on the ES where I came in and I said, look, hey, we're likely going to come down to 74.18. If you held your ES short down to 74.18 and then got out of the way, you did really well. We actually came down to 74.17 at a low, and we've reversed back up. Now, is the reversal a risk-on reversal? Is it a real risk reversal? Are we really going to go up from here? That's not what the charts say at this moment. It could happen. It's a market. We're deeply oversold. We're very far away from normal. So yes, it could happen. But again, I don't know that it will. Looks like folks are doing well. I got some good comments in the chat in terms of the performance folks had. Which is amazing. Well, George, I'm happy that all 3 entries that you said you took worked, which is amazing. They all worked here as well. So that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Wow, so many folks wrote in. I'm just scrolling up in the chat right now and taking a look at what folks wrote in. So that's amazing. And Ray B, a little bit of profit is still profit, right? A little bit is still profit, but that's amazing. So I'm super happy to hear that from so many folks letting me know how they're doing. That's awesome. Let me just do another quick check over here. Okay, looks good. Everything looks all right. Perfect. Okay, so you heard in advance from me where the location of support is on the ES, where the location of support is on the NQ. You saw me take 3 or 4 entries short. I think 1 was a long, the rest were shorts, and they all worked out at the end of the day. Now the question really is where are we going from here? If we're going to break down below the DeMark support 1 weekly pivot level, are we coming down to the bottom of the weekly pivot range? Let me just clean this up briefly here and get a little bit more granularity on volume profile for you here. So we're going to have to do this on a 5-minute chart in just a sec, but I want you to kind of take a look at the last time we were in this location was all the way back here. So this is the beginning of May. And you can see volume profile node sitting right there. I don't think down through 27,671. Really, if we're going to come down below the lows, the next stop on the train going sell at 27,560. There's going to be some fuzziness around it in terms of 10, 15 points above or below. But 27,560 would be oversold that the market's going to try to build a base and bounce up off of it. Perhaps that's a successful bounce or it fails. I don't know. Is it doing that right now? It is. Okay. It is itself out right here and go, well, above 27,800, 27,800, we're still not free and clear. We'd have to get above 27,910 roughly as well for it to be meaningful. So I don't think, any longs right now would be suspect at this moment in time at best. They're probably not getting a message from CJ saying my video is cutting in and out real bad. Okay, I'm going to try to, I'm going to try my best to lower some of the system resources. Give me a second for a moment, folks. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. That's very, very strange. Okay, all right. Well, it looks like whatever I just did ended up working, so that's good. And I think it was some browsers going to sleep because they were closed. But looks like we're good. Okay, so back to the insight right now. So the insight's very straightforward. Okay, we called out where the market would come down to. It was in a sell signal state if it was not able to get its footing above particular levels. And the levels that it needed to get above were 28,000, 28,135, and we failed to do so. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with some of the video feed here, but I'm going to do my best to try and get that going again. I know that some folks are having some issues, but hey, it's the internet. Okay, so I'm just gonna press on here, and my apologies if the stream is not clear, but it looks like folks are fine for the large part. So I'll just continue onwards. So the insight again, just get back to brass tacks over here. If we come back down below 27,671, where are we headed down to? Volume profile node right here, 27,560. Seemingly want to head back down to that area right now. Let's see if we can make some quick work out of it. So what I want to see is a breach effectively of the low because I have missed a resumption entry here. So I want to see a breach of the low if I am going to go and go short, that is. So if we get a breach of the low, down, we can head to 27,560, which is about 100 points above the bottom of the weekly pivot range for the NQ. So let's be patient here. For those who have already entered a resumption short, I think that's fair. I just think that one wants to be very clear that we are waiting for the next shoe to drop. Okay, there we go. So now we just hit 71-ish. I'm going to wait for the low to be breached. I'll take it on the breach, because this is also an area where we can get that double bottom. We can get that oversold bounce. There is a positively divergent, lower low potential here as well. So I want to be very careful with the next short entry. Would also like to see the S&P E-minis submerge below 74.18 to support the trade. And they're not below there. They're at 74.24. So I'm going to wait on this one because it smells a little fishy at this moment in time. It's likely going to work. We're likely going to come down. The signals are there, but I want to be as close to certain as I can before I take the entry. So I'm not taking it just yet. And we can see that we're getting a little bit of a risk reversal. It's a very tentative one. So nothing yet to really talk about. Nothing yet that's significant, that's for sure. But it is double bottom-esque in terms of what we're seeing. So let's continue pressing on over here. Okay, back down we're coming. Let's see if we break that low and I get an opportunity to enter, or do we get a risk reversal? And at what point does it become interesting to try long? Well, look, if the sells are not going to sell down and we breach falling resistive structures on a 1 minute chart, that could be the earliest area right there. The champion trend sell zone trail line, 27,795 roughly. That could be the earliest area to consider a very high risk entry on the long side. You know, the preferable outcome is just break the floor, come down to the next target, right? If we come down and breach below roughly 660, we're headed down to 560. We just did the work to assess that. We're at 680 right now, 690 almost. So no trade yet. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but have things slowed down dramatically before the turn of the hour? The answer I'm seeing is more of a yes, but let's see if it breaches. And Nick C, that's a good point. The most important data point this market morning is the Conference Board's consumer confidence number. It can enhance direction. It can create a pivot. So thank you to everyone writing in on that. So my finger's hovering over the trigger, but we're a minute and a half away from, less than a minute and a half away from data. And typically when one is trading, you want to avoid data. Data is event risk, right? It's the unknown at the end of the day. You can have a view on it. You can have a likely outcome on it. It's likely going to come in at or slightly better than the consensus from my last read of it. And that could actually create a bounce. So may want to wait. But we have broken. The data is not out. And we still have a universe of time, i.e. 50 seconds before the data. I think I'm going to stay away and wait at this stage and wait for the data. There's not much point having the hourly chart on screen anymore because we've obviously broken well below the speed lines. If things start to come back up, sure, I'll bring it back on. But otherwise, just to reduce the noise that we have on screen, I'll just remove the 1 hour chart. We'll stick with the 5 minute chart and the 1 minute chart at this moment, because at the end of the day, the day trade is supported by aligned signals. Okay, so here we are. Let's see if we end up getting a nice little turn up or a battering back down again, that we know where the target is that we're headed down to. Okay, so the data should be out. It looks like it's a risk on reversal. I'm jumping on the backs of that with a very high risk trade with a micro, right? So very small size. If it implodes on me, it's not going to damage me, and it's imploding on me, right? Right now, I'm still holding it because I've got a buy candle forming after an indecision print at a positively divergent lower low. So this is a very risky situation. If one wants to really take on a long, it should be above 27,800. But I'm trying an entry over here, working with what the market's giving me at this moment in time. I was comfortable with it, and I'm comfortable also taking profit after a 35-second trade, right? Because it was a very high-risk trade. So there we go. I think we've had winners across the board for every trade taken so far. I think I've done 5 trades so far, 5 or 6. They've all been winners. Now comes the question of, are we going to get a risk reversal that's significant enough to take us, into a buy signal state on a 5 minute chart? No, it's very doubtful that that's the case. We still have a lot of ground to make up. Look, if we get above the resistive structures on a 1 minute chart, we still have 100 more points to go, more than 100 points to go, I think. Yeah, about 100 points to go. Like the 5 minute chart's going to convert signal state somewhere around 27,900, right? We're at 27,720. And we need to really get above 795 for the 1 minute chart to even be in a buy signal state. So I took a very opportunistic grab over there. That was nothing more than that. This can very easily turn back down again. I don't want you to think that my sentiment is changing. My sentiment is agnostic. It's neutral. I'm not a bull. I'm not a bear. I just want to see what's there. And what's there is a positively divergent lower low, speed line cross, single blue dots from the triple S toolkit. Okay, single blue dots. And by the way, for the triple S students in the room, what did we have right here? 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, 3 candles. Okay, we need a minimum of 3 separated by no more than 6 bars, And then we need 2 bars sequentially lower, closing lower below the channel. That happened as of 9:27 a.m. And then down the hatch it went. And it went from what, 27,000, almost 28,000, all the way down to 27,650, 640. So this pattern is called the pre-trade conditioning pattern. These 3 triangles are called the pre-trade conditioning pattern. You can shorten it down to PTC. That pattern, while the double red dots remain above the bar, is still in play. But when the double red dots convert to single blue dots, it's telling you that there's potential for the pattern to be disengaging. Right now, we don't have a reversal in terms of buy signal state. I've already qualified for you what we need to get above. But you've seen me trade 6 trades, 5, 6 trades in a row. Every single one has been seemingly successful, including the very high risk grab that we're getting over here. When that bar shot up and I was on that long, and then I saw that blue dot over here, the next thing that went to my head is, okay, where's resistance from the breakout forecasters on the 5-minute chart? Okay, it's right there, 27,760, then 27,795. Okay, when I look at the state that we're in right now, we're in a champion trend, stage 3 sell sequence on a 5-minute chart. So I've no illusions about this, potentially resuming. It can very easily. But if we do happen to find ourselves above 27,795, well, I might have something more that I can do here. And it's teeing itself up. And by the way, the ES is helping with that as well. So right now, what I want to do is do just a little check of the room. We've been trading now live for about 35 minutes. Every trade that I've taken in front of you seemingly has been very successful. It seems that folks writing in have been successful so far. I just want to do a check and make sure that you're okay. Are you getting what you need from me? And are you okay? You can let me know with the letter Y in the chat, number 7 in the chat, however you want to communicate. If you want me to focus in a little differently, you feel free to, share your feedback in the chat. If you're in a live trade and you're managing it, heck, don't bother with the chat or responding. Focus on your trade. Okay, so I'm seeing the beginnings of liftoff. Can I do this high risk trade again? I think so. I think I want to wait for the champion cross sell zone to be breached. 745. We're headed towards it. I'm trying it. Okay, this is a very high risk entry. It's an oversold bounce that is coming off of a positively divergent lower low. It's profit positive. I'm 9-10 seconds in the trade. And guess what I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take profit. Why am I going to do that? Because this is a very high risk trade. So again, right? Yet again, another entry, another profitable trade. Now, for those who are grabbing it with bigger size or multiple contract, whatever it may be, good for you. But just remember, until we've converted into a buy signal state, this is not necessarily the best game to play. Now, we are headed up to the champion trend sell zone trail line on that 1-minute chart. There is resistance at 800 with the breakout forecaster there. So this is a bit of a riskier, endeavor to buy into. You look at that breakout forecaster on the 5-minute chart, it's sitting right there at roughly 27,800. And the resistance structure is at 800. Above there, we've got room up to 860. So technically, if this firms up and we breach 795, 805, somewhere in that area, there may be a 50, 60 point trade up to about the 860 area, in store for us. And it could be a little more than that, right? It could be, it's actually, my apologies, it's 870 to 900. So here we go. Let's see if we're going to get this. I'm a little wary of it, but I'm going to try it on the breach of the lines. Okay, so I'm seeing engagement of the lines. I'm not seeing it breach, so I misfired. So I have my finger on the trigger to get the heck out of the way if this does not firm up here. And if we come back down below the center of that MSR channel, like we just did, I'm going to get out of the way. Why do I need to expose myself to that risk? It could firm up. It could come back again, but this can also be where it resumes the down. So if it's going to resume the down, I think the most recent local low, which would be considered right there, would have to be taken out for me to want to flip to the short direction, which is really the primary thrust for the market. And Ray B, that's the name of the game, right? If you're working on getting an eval passed and you can take chunks of the move and lock it in, amazing. So short, that with real live evidence may actually be where we're going again. I'm going to re-enter the short right here. We breached that low. We breached the low. The trade's been profit positive so far. I want to make sure that it, stays that way. I could put a stop in. I could also take my profit after the 10-second marker, which I'm doing because my last trade was unprofitable. So those two roughly washed each other. Now, if we come down below the low here, are we resuming the sell? Yes. Do we know where we're going down to? Yes, we've done the work. 560, right? Below roughly the six. Now I think we're going to have to wait for 650, 640 to breach. But below there, we know we've already done the work. We've looked at the volume profile chart. 560 would be the next area. And then roughly 460 is the bottom of the weekly pivot range. Now, here's something to keep in mind. When you're this oversold, what was that commercial for that chocolate bar? When you're this big, they call you Mister. I'm of course dating myself, but for the young ones in the room, that was a chocolate bar commercial in the 80s or 90s, and it was a chocolate bar called Mr. Big. When you're this big, they call you Mister. When you're this oversold, we've got to be very careful for whipsaw reversals, right? We've got to be very careful for whipsaw reversals. Hey, AURXS. Well, thank you for that compliment. I appreciate that. Trading is complicated. We want to not simplify it to the point where it seems like it's easy. We want to focus on what's important, right? So move the clutter to the side. And some days it's going to be harder than others. This is fairly clean so far on the day, as evidenced by the trading. But now at this stage, I am looking for a breach of the low to take me down to 560, or one of the jungle's most rarest creatures, a triple bottom to play out. Is there such a thing? Are we actually going to be in a bottoming process here? Now, the technical signals will say, you're dreaming, because we've got this aligned signal state going from a daily chart all the way down to a 1 minute chart. They're all on sell signals. But we had a little reprieve here, right? We had a little oversold bounce. We've had a double bottom. This is a positively divergent lower low. You can see that with the triple S line. We made a low on the triple S indicator right here at a low, and that was 9:47 a.m. Eastern time. We made a lower low intra-bar, 9:59 a.m. Eastern time, but look at where the triple S indicator landed, higher low. So lower low in price, higher low in the indicator. We don't deserve to be down there. Oversold bounce has a better chance of working itself out. Now, this would be a weak form positive divergence as well. If we do not stay down here and come back down again, and we see that fast speed line cross above the slow, same insight applies. It's not a strong form of a positive divergence. It would be a weak form because price did not come down and make yet again a lower low. But you can see the lows on the triple S indicator are getting higher sequentially. And importantly, the triple S line is trying to sustain above that dashed white line. The dashed white line is the fast momentum line. The solid blue line is the slow momentum line. The red line is the triple S line. And this channel, this 4-quadrant channel, is geography. The lower half of the channel is homeland. The upper half of the channel is enemy territory. And you can think about the red line as the soldiers. The triple S line is the soldiers. The dashed white line are the generals. And the blue line is the king and the queen. So right now, the soldiers and the generals have had a little confab. Soldiers may be being sent up to grab the king and the queen and bring them home, or to launch a new campaign. We're not going to know until the soldiers cross through and above the blue line and into the upper half of the channel. That's where we'll have a lot more security that up is here. Right now, we don't know that. Right now, they're just chatting with the generals. They may be sent down into their backyard to rest and mend their wounds, right? So we have to wait and see at this moment in time. And Nick, you're right about that, right? I'm seeing the same sort of thing from the ES. The ES is hanging out, and this is a chart that I brought up earlier, but the NASDAQ has been the hammer, right? It's hammered things back down. The ES is holding the local low, right? We came down perfectly, say for a point to my 74.18 number. We have not yet come back down to break below there. This is an hourly chart you're looking at for the ES. I've got it up on another screen, but the NQ can easily hammer things back down. I want to just avoid getting into a whipsaw situation. So how would I avoid that at this stage? I'd like to see something that takes the low out, right? The obvious in this case is the obvious that I'm going to take. If we come down below 640, I'll go short. We're headed towards it. Fingers on the trigger. Button's depressed. I haven't unclenched it. I'm waiting for execution. It's not breaking. It has not come up above an area that says I can, flip to long. We're still in a sell signal state. Are we going to get a resumption here? Look at the chart on the left-hand side of the screen, the 5-minute chart. That's the chart we're actually trading. We're using the 1 minute for execution. We could easily resume the short here and have the next leg down. We know the next leg down takes us down towards 560, from 640 to 560. We're coming down to it, and we just broke through it. Okay, so my execution was poor. It executed a lot lower than I wanted to. I wanted to execute at 640. My execution happened at 626 because it just broke down. So I want to make sure that I take care of my P&L here in case it whipsaws back up. So I'm going to have my finger over the flatten button, not the add button, in case this does not work out. But I'm looking at my triple S line on the 1 minute chart. Look at that triple S line. Let me just move over here. You can see it's coming to the bottom of the channel here. That's my warning. I'm taking profit, right? I'm taking profit. I'm not holding it down to 560. If that triple S line breaches the bottom of the channel, okay, and they get sent into their backyard, I can jump back on that trade again. And Mark, the triple S template is in it's in the members area. I'll share with you where you can get it. But the triple S indicator, since you're asking about it, I'm doing a special session tomorrow, directly about this. So let me just, that's where we can, dot the I's and cross the T's on the indicator. Let me just give you the registration link for that. Carolyn, good for you. Did anyone else get that last short and take profit like Carolyn did? Let me know with a lucky number 7 in the chat. Looks like folks did. Alex, oh, wow. Okay. I've had holy cow. The number of folks responding back on that last trade is incredible. Okay, it can resume right now, and I want to just get this out of the way since you're asking. There's a session that I'm doing tomorrow. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific. The link is becomebettertrader.com/yes. I'm putting it into your chat. For those of you that are interested in learning more about that tool, come join me tomorrow morning. I'm not going to be doing this session. I'm going to be doing that session tomorrow morning. So feel free to come in and join. Let me just get that in your chat properly here. So I'll share insight on the tool, and in particular, the pre-trade conditioning pattern. It's one of the highest technical patterns for trading out there. So, and again, evidence today. Minimum of 3 signals, 3 triangles. We're left with a down. 2 bars sequentially lower below the channel, or 1 bar with the double red dots, and down the hatchet it'll likely go. While the double red dots remain in play, the trade is still alive on the short side. The double red dots came back into play over here, confirmed again, confirmed, and here we are. And I'm looking at resuming my short imminently. I just want to be very careful with it. I'm using the tool as well at a very small time frame here to really give me the trigger to take the next short. I'm not getting it. And this might erode without me being in the trade, but that's okay, right? The whole point of having a technical toolkit with patterns that you can follow is to manage your risk. And in order for me to take the next trade, I've already communicated it to you. I need to see that triple S line breach the bottom of the 1 minute chart channel and tell me that we're going to still be nose to ground on the triple S line below the bottom of the 5 minute chart channel. I do not know that right now. Now, this can be a situation where it skids, makes slightly lower lows, and then all of a sudden, whammo, you get one of these candles. So it's still tradable to the short side, but not my preferred situation. And the other thing that we have to also keep in mind over here is when you're dealing with a market that is as oversold as this one is, right? You get a small positive, it's amplified, right? Negatives right now, are they going to push the market dramatically lower? Well, we've already sold down dramatically, right? So think about it in terms of fuel tanks. You've already used up the vast majority of bearish fuel has been used up. Now, you can always fall off a cliff. You don't need fuel for that. You just need to tip over. The next line, the next cliff line, if you will be 560 and then 460, which is the bottom of the weekly pivot range. And if I didn't put that link in, if you're asking, sorry, I'll put it in all chats here. My apologies. Put it into the chat again. So bear with me for a second. Okay, so it's in there and it should be in there again here. All right. Well, George, bearish gravity is the cliff, isn't it? But the physicists haven't actually found the graviton yet, or have they? We have not quantized gravity yet for the armchair astrophysicists and particle physicists in the room. Okay, this could very easily be a bear flag. We can fall over. Now, this is where a limit order below 600 could come in handy. And, we can see a flush, a whoosh. I'm getting closer and closer to wanting to resume the short. I want to see my indicator really point nose to ground. It's not doing that. In fact, it's potentially doing the opposite. If that triple S line, the soldiers come up above the dash white line, the generals, and then move from quadrant 1 into quadrant 2, we can get sucked right back up to 730, 750 very quickly. Now, I'm not licking my lips for long, but if it sets up, I might actually take a swing at it. So at a bare minimum, for those who are actively trading right now, this is not a great trading moment, right? So I'm hopeful most folks are flat and either stalking the short below 600 or getting ready for an ultra high risk long. Now, I'm stalking the short because that's the direction we're going. If I take the trade without my indicator being below the bottom of the channel, I'm putting myself at more risk. Can I handle that risk? Yes. So I'm stalking it, and I'm able to handle it manually. I don't need a stop in there. Now, of course, to market, my suggestion to everyone is manage your P&L as you see fit. Manage your trade and your risk management as you see fit. Okay, I'm seeing a reversal. It's high risk to take it. If I see the triple S line breach into quadrant 2 from quadrant 1, like it's doing right now, I'm taking on a long. I want to see if I can get follow through directly. If I don't, I'm going to get out of the way. I've got follow through directly. I want to see if it sustains. If it doesn't and implodes, my finger's on the trigger to get the heck out of the way. But there's your follow through. There's your triple S indicator giving you another profitable trade. Those who took it, I'm taking profit. It was a 20-second trade. It's still viable. It's still viable. I'm not in it anymore because I know the risks are really too high until we fully convert into a buy signal state, at least on a 1 minute chart. And if this is the setup for an implosion back down, hey, I didn't want to be caught in that. And I'm still going to stalk the short, which is the primary direction I want to trade. I've got something incrementally bearish happening here that may allow me to take the short below 600. I've got the triple S line being rejected from coming into quadrant 2, coming down back into quadrant 1, and now I want to see if it negotiates with the generals and they send them lower. So I'm seeing a little intersection right now, a little cross happening. I want to see that, that breach, the triple S line breach the fast momentum line. If it does, I might have a short. If it comes right back up into quadrant 2, I've got another long that's still very, very high risk. Well, Kevin, I'm happy to hear that. And Kevin, can I read that out to folks? Because that's real feedback from a real trader making a real choice. You let me know. Okay, so Kevin says for sure. So Kevin says, thanks for everything. What fun this was. A great morning. Going to go before I mess this up. Good on you, my friend. I want you to eventually get to the point where you go, I've made my quota on the day. I've exhausted my mental acuity. I'm done. Right? I know we always will feel that derogatory type emotion. Okay, here's the cross. I've missed my entry. I'm trying it again right now. I'm late. I feel like I'm chasing it. So if I get pummeled on this, I deserve it. I'm not going to hold it below the center of the MSR channel on the 1 minute chart. And if we come down below the center, I'll have to take an L. Very few of those this morning. We pop up above the top of the channel, I can actually build the trade. But right now, we're coming down to the center. It's holding. ES is also trying to help, but it's not looking great. So we still have not seen a buy signal conversion. So I haven't seen the triple S line cross above the fast momentum line. So I risk manage myself out. Right? There's no point in me sustaining that position. So I wanted to share with you another credible entry where it's trying to lift off the mat. And look, the story is being told. The trading decision is being told to us, right? Right over here, we were in that spot where we're right near a low, and we could still come back down to it, but we are right near a low, and I used my tool to keep me from shorting it and losing. I didn't see it come down and break below the bottom of the channel. I'm using the same tool right now to, demonstrate to you that the long side of the trade might become a thing, but I'm being very specific and saying to you, I need that tool, that triple S line, the soldiers, to cross above the king and the queen and cross into enemy territory, which is the upper half of this 4 quadrant channel. So it's a 4 quadrant channel. You can see it in all its glory right now. If we cross through the center line, we then have a much better than fair chance to turn the ship around. Right, and bring the triple S line on that 5 minute chart into the channel. And then we're in a probable market turn or at least a bottoming pattern for a little while. So I don't know that yet, but I do know that it's likely headed there. And my next entry is probably going to wait for at least the top of the 1 minute chart's MSR channel to be breached. Well, Sleepy Trader, 4 trades, 4 wins. Not a bad win place show. I think you won. So that's great. Nick, well, I'm happy to hear that. Nick C, my friend's telling me he's long. Charbel, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. And I'm in wait mode right now, right? Just waiting for this to get a little firmer. And we've got our technical toolkit on the screen. Some of the things that I can add in over here is, hey, you're seeing the potential speed line crossover on the 5 minute chart. We have an absence of 1 bar without a breakout forecaster on a 5 minute. This has happened along the ride. So we have an absence of 2 bars and we have a bullish speed line cross. Then we're done the sequence. Then we're headed back up for a little bit, and we could be testing, the second last, third, fourth, potentially the 5th last breakout forecaster up in the upper 800s. Right now, I don't know that. Right? I don't want to get excited about up or excited about down. I just want to be realistic about what's going on. We're not seeing as much bearish fuel available to push things back down. We're coming to the center of the hour, which also has its own dynamics. We have to be careful with that. I'm going to take the trade if I'm seeing a breach over here of the triple S line above the blue line. It's a little early. It's not through the center of the channel, so it's still higher risk. But if it's coincident with getting above the top of the 1 minute chart MSR channel, so around 720, I'd probably try that. If we're going to get pushed back down again, it may be a false signal. I would need to see some real crossovers happen on that 1 minute chart, to really tell me that this thing is going to come unglued again. And hey, look, I'm happy playing either side as long as I'm following the rules with my tools. And that's again what tomorrow's session is about, where I put that link in the chat. What are the rules with the toolkit? How do you take advantage of the, some of the highest technical patterns out there, probability-wise? I'm going to be doing a bunch of examples and sharing that with you, and sharing all the where the layouts and all that kind of stuff is. And it's all going to be done tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, here we go. Here we grow again, potentially. Let's not get excited about it. Let's just be ready. Long above 720, long above 750 are the options. Short at the earliest below 660. And then I think center of mass of the low around 620. So short side trading plan, earliest 660, next 620. Long side trading plan, 720, 750. What about the ES? Let's be very clear there. The long is initially above 74.33 and then 74.40. The short is below 74.28 and then below 74.18. I think the long's going to work. Okay. I'm not going to bias myself, though. Let's see. I am hovering over the buy button. And again, my hope is that most folks are flat right now. Well, there you go, George. That makes the difference, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's see if we're going to get a pop-up. I'm seeing that speed line cross. I'm seeing the pop to breach the top of the 1 minute charts MSR channel. I'm trying it right there on the breach. Again, okay, it can easily implode. I don't have the triple S line crossing through the blue and the white line. It's just breaching the blue line. Okay, so risks are still very high. Finger should be on the trigger to get the heck out of the way. In fact, I'm depressing the flatten button and I'm waiting to see if this doesn't work. I'm going to just bug out. And where's my risk management? The speed lines, right? We just hit the speed lines. I'm out. It can bounce back up, but it can also easily implode. What I know I've got going on over here is the end of a sell sequence on the 5 minute chart. That doesn't mean we go straight up. We can meander around. We can come down below our first short below line, which what we said was 660, 660, 620, right? But I've got two bars. You can look at it on the left-hand side of the screen with no breakout forecasters, none of these dashes above those two bars. And I've got the fast speed line crossing above the slow. That's a classic setup for a retrace to go test the last several breakout forecasters. Now, I don't want to talk as much right now. I want to be prepared in the case I get an opportunity to take the trade again. I'm breaching it again. It's the same trade, same risk, a little less risk because we're trying to come back up to it again. But either I wait or I try. So I'm trying it. And in earnest, if it doesn't work out, that's okay. I'll take my risk off the table below the speed lines. We're coming back to the speed lines. I'm taking my risk off the table. So I've had two whacks at it, okay, both times. And I've done this on purpose. I did not see my indicator cross through the blue line and cross through the center of the channel. Watch what happens if it does. Okay, crossing through the blue again. I'm not taking the trade this time. I'm going to wait for it to cross through the blue and through the white line, which is the center of the channel. If it crosses through both, you'll see it like a slingshot shoot up. Very likely, not certainly. And I've got the backing of the 5 minute chart ending stage 3 of its CTP sequence. There you go. Okay, blue line was breached to a greater degree. Did it get above the blue and white? Did it close on a 1 minute bar basis above there? No. That's how powerful this tool is, right? It gave me the opportunity to try it before confirmation. I don't have confirmation yet. I don't have the soldiers above the king and the queen and in the upper half in enemy territory going on another campaign. That's not what I have. So it's not working out. I took 2 executions on purpose, trying to see if I can get something out of it. Nope, not yet. Let's let the tool guide us. If the tool gives us a breach of the blue line, well, we've seen that happen already. We need a breach and a close. And ideally, we need it to break, which would mean closing above the blue and closing above the center line as well, right? Closing above both opens the door for up. And look, this might not materialize, but that's also what the tool's helping us determine, right? So patience at this stage. At this moment, well, Nathaniel will see you then as well. What my hope is right now, if I've guided well, most folks should be flat. Long, short, or flat? Let me know in the chat. L, S, or F, long, short, or flat. Most folks, if I've done my job well, should be flat right now. And be ready for a potential short. Be ready for a potential long, sure. Bingo. Amazing. Amazing. I'm happy to hear that, folks. Good job. I like your handle, no skills, with the caps in that way. I haven't seen that handle before. That's unique. Okay, so we're still in the same spot, folks. We've crossed the center of the hour. It's 4.5 minutes ago. This does seem like a consolidation pattern. If I haven't pointed it out, you can see these green dots at the bottom of the screen over here, bottom of the main chart. That's the champion cross indicator, right? The champion cross indicator has crossed over from red to green, but it needs the champion trend indicator to support it. It's the grand data. The champion trend indicator is still in the sell zone. There's a trail line there, right? What I have happening at this moment in time is very clear evidence from the Triple S toolkit that the sell signal state has cooled off. It's cooled off, okay? But I don't have a conversion to a buy signal state on a 1 minute chart, right? If that Triple S line breaches the dashed white line, perhaps we're going to start another sell sequence. But what has happened over the last, well, call it dozen and a half minutes roughly, is the market made yet again a positively divergent lower low and has been consolidating. Through this consolidation process, the chart that I'm actually trading is the 5 minute chart on the left-hand side of your screen. It's ended the 3 stages of the champion trend pack sequence. Now, stage 1, you have the champion trend indicator, which is the sell zone plaque and trail line, then the champion cross, then wealth signal, then breakout forecaster, wealth signal remark, stage 2. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this becomes a breach. Dare I try it on the breach, or should I wait for it to close above there? But look at what's happening. You heard it in advance, right? If we come up through there and we have closed above it, I'm taking the trade. Now, I still have a feature of resistance to get through, so I can come back and back test it. But did you hear me say in advance, if we see the Triple S line breach the blue line and the white line and close above, we're likely going to see it slingshot up. It's still a very well sell signaled market. So this is not a moment where I'm super excited about up, up, and away. What I'm excited about is the insight against the tool, right? If you were listening in, if you heard it in advance, you heard that it will probably slingshot up. I have no illusions about whether this can work out or not. You know, it might take some time, sure. It could easily fall back into a sell signal state. This is a 1 minute chart. It's the leading or the bleeding edge, right? But there it is, right? And it's still trying its darndest right now to get off the mat. The 5 minute chart has a lot more work to do before it can grow up and be strong again. But look, the trade's profit positive, barely. And I am thinking about taking it off right now. I'm going to re-enter it above the highs. I want to know that I'm pointed up above the highs, above 760. So it can take some time figuring itself out. It breached the champion trend sell zone trail line. So I'm using these two indicative packages together, as you have seen, and it breached the line, but the line stayed in play. It breached the line again on the current live bar, but the line is still in play. The champion trend sell zone trail line is still in place. It has not gone away, right? That line is still there. Getting back above it, and getting back above 60, 65, sure. We hit 68. We've seen the line go away. We know the triple S indicator is now in the upper half of the channel. Okay, I'll give it another shot. I'm not sitting here hopeful that it's going to work out. I'm going to manage my risk. If I don't see it holding above the fast speed line and coming down by a degree that I'm not comfortable with, I'm going to get the heck out of the way. So my finger's on the flatten button, but you've now seen the power of the toolkit in an extraordinarily negative, very pervasive sell signal state. It kept us flat. It opened the door for a long, but I'm not going to stay long if it's not going to follow through. And I have no illusions of this being an amazing long side trading environment. You go look at the hourly chart, the 4-hour chart, the daily chart, you're just going to see sell, 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 sell. So in order for this to grind back up, it's going to have fits and starts. The ES is helping. Okay, we're at 74.34, 33, 32 now. As long as we hold 32, which is barely staying in place, we could see this resume. But what my hope is that you got a good taste of how the tool can help you stay away from a position and potentially get you in. Now, if we had the backdrop of a buy signal state on a 5-minute chart, this little microcosm, this little event over here would be, gangbusters. It would be a rocket ship up. We did get the slingshot. We did get the follow through, but we're in a sell signal state environment that is still quite pervasive. It's going to take time to build its footing and go, go, go. If this little, conversation on how the tool works was somewhat eye-opening for you, give me a lucky number 7 in the chat and let me know. Especially those of you that might not have engaged with the tools in this manner, right? That's my hope, at least, that you're seeing that there's depth that you can plumb over here that can help you time better, choose to stay out. Now, right now, it's a muddled mess. Not interested in making a decision for this time frame of trading. But look, triple S lines above the center of the channel. Need to get above the speed lines. What happens after the 3 stages of the champion trend pack sequence are over on a 5-minute chart? We'll go test the last, the second, the third last. In this case, we've done all of that. So we've got the 4th last at roughly 795, 5th last at roughly 870 available. The champion trend sell zone trail line on the 1-minute chart is gone. Triple S is holding above the center of the channel. Now, I don't have that beautiful pre-trade conditioning pattern. I've got one triangle. I've got champion trend. I've got champion cross. I'm going to try this trade again above the highs, and I'll be trading it up to the local high here. So it would be a trade of about potentially 20 to 30 points. And I'm going to engage with it right now. Again, I'm trying it right now. And there's the entry. It went profit positive right away. I want to see if it can sustain. And it's getting batted back down. I'll take my profit. Okay, we did pop up. We didn't get all the way up to the high. It's working its way up. So those that have the risk tolerance to, buy the retrace, if you will, the retrace is on, right? The indication has confirmed that. The next step of this is to convert over to a full buy signal state on a 5-minute chart. That happens when the triple S line, and you can see it on the 5-minute chart. Look at the left-hand side of the screen. The triple S line has crossed through the fast momentum line. It's moved from the first quadrant to the second. Now the game is to cross above the slow momentum line and get above the king and the queen line. That would then give us a conversion and alignment, at least on a 1 and a 5-minute time frame, telling us that we're in an oversold bounce, we're in a retrace of some form, and it can become a little bit more stable. Until then, we're going to have fits and starts. But you got the goods in advance. You are seeing price at a higher point versus the bar that really kicked it off, which was right there at 10:35 a.m. Eastern time. That was the 1 minute bar. Sure, we had fits and starts. Another fit right now. Maybe we can get a restart. The next long that would make the most sense from my standpoint takes out 795. And we have a lot of ground to make up. Now, intermarket behavior is also going to be very useful. I'm keeping my eye on that all the time. The main line that I wanted to see the ES sustain above, it's above it again by about a handful of points or so. So that's good. 74.32 is the number there. And we're approaching the next buy line. The next buy line for the ES is 42 now. It's not 40, it's 42. So that's somewhat encouraging. And there's still time before the end of the hour for me to trade here. I think I'm going to only try the long above 795, and it could just spike right through. I might miss it. So I'm going to keep my finger on the trigger. Get ready for it. I want to see it get above 795. I might as well wait for the round number pretty much. Fingers on the trigger, buttons depressed. Look at the triple S line on the left-hand side of your screen on the 5-minute chart. It's trying to cross, right? This is a tricky moment. It can just rocket ship right through like hot knife through butter. It can also have some consternation over here and have some challenge here. Let me add price back in. You can obviously see price here, but there it is breaching, well, at least testing the high, and we still have not crossed over as of yet. We're breaching it again. We tagged it. I want to see that breach, right? The 1-minute chart's done the right job for us. It's got us into quadrant 3. We saw the right stuff to stay out of the trade. Remember, we saw the right stuff to stay out of the short back over here. We saw the right stuff to stay out of the trade over here. And we saw the right stuff to say, okay, maybe something is afoot. That's great. And Bill, the bottom indicator is the triple S indicator. Triple S indicator. Some folks like to call it the super swing signal, which works intraday and it works on all time frames. And you're just seeing an explosion of that, the sub chart, that you're seeing in the 1-minute chart. You're seeing it on a 5-minute time frame on the left-hand side of the screen. Because we're at this interesting moment, right? If we end up getting that positive breach above the blue line, if the soldiers, triple S line, red line, which have already crossed above the generals, have already crossed from quadrant 1, the safety of the castle, they're still in homeland, but headed towards, enemy gates. If we see the soldiers cross through the blue line over here, we're in a good spot for this retrace to continue. And look, I'm not excited about where it can get to or anything like that, but there might be 100 points very easily, to take advantage of. And by the way, that 100 points comes from resistance at around 870, 880 off of the 1-hour chart, which I'm looking at off screen on the NQ. And would I be surprised if none of this materializes? Well, I have not had the day tradable chart that I'm trading actually go into a buy signal state. And JT, what are you saying? During the pre-trade conditioning, do you include blue triangles in the count? So no, there are no blue triangles. The tool is very elegant. It's an up triangle, a down triangle, double red dots, double green dots, or single blue dots. Double red dots, stay in the direction. Single blue dots, the direction's changing or cooling off. Double green dots, up direction. Double green dots are now starting to be fashioned on screen. You can see that right there on the current bar. Right? That's a good thing. It still is going to take some time. This is a 1-minute chart. If the 5-minute chart sees the breach above the blue line, up and away we go. And again, for the pre-trade conditioning pattern, it's let me see if I can demonstrate it with high effectiveness here. I'll do it. I think someone asked earlier, can you do this on a bigger time frame even? Well, yeah. So here's the ES, okay? Here's a 1-hour chart, okay? This is July the 22nd, the 1-hour bar, down signal, up signal, down signal. You do not want them separated by more than 6 bars between each signal. You want at least 3 signals. If we're left with a down, we need to see price action move below Rob's MSR channel by 2 bars and closing lower sequentially, or 1 bar with the double red dots. We had both effectively go into play at 2 a.m. Eastern time on the 23rd. And if the trade was taken there, 75.20 was the entry on that bar with the double red dot. 75.20 roughly yielded a result of 110 points on the ES. Now that's exceptional, of course, but even if it yielded 10 points, it's a high probability 10 points, right? But you can see how well that pattern worked. Now double red dots remained in play. They still remained in play up until right there. So JT, when we see price action start to flatline and we see the fast speed line crossing above the slow, I'm going to bug out of the trade. And by the way, what just happened? Look at that cross. Look at that slingshot. Look at what the indicator told us in advance. If we are going to cross and breach into a buy signal state, what's going to happen? And we've got, now I've missed my entry. If you took the entry, kudos to you. Where are we headed up to? That's the next question. So where are we headed up to? Let's go to the hourly chart. Resistance on the hourly chart exists at 845, which we're approaching right now. So watch out. Next resistance is on the slow speed line at 880. At 880. So the next longable moment is above 845, which I might try. It's not ideal for me here, but I'm going to force myself into it. And if we get directional moves directly up, great. If we're starting to move down, I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to wait for the bar to go green and take out the high. And I can re-enter. It took out the high. I re-entered. Let's see if we get more juice to keep going. Now, I did not enter this trade well, right? So you know that already. We're still dangling around 845. We've identified that as resistance. The next target is what do we say, 880? And here you go. Brought to you by Triple S. I'm going to take a little profit here. Okay, I'm going to take a little profit there. But the next target line would be about the 880 area. Did anyone else take the trade? Right? If you're a Triple S student, you've already got this in the bag. If you got the tool already on your side, you already had the insight. And all I did was provide you the analytics into it, right? You had the 1 minute chart in a buy signal state. We saw the Triple S line save us from, shorting the market and looking for lower lows during this period of time from about 10-11 all the way to about 10-20. Then we saw a little up, not ready yet for longs. We stayed out of the trade because the tool did not give us the breaches that we wanted. I showed you a couple of examples where I took the trade and I did not have my indicator crossing through the lines that I needed. So I didn't profit from it. Big surprise. Then we got through the center on a 1 minute chart. It encouraged the 5 minute chart to start crossing through effectively the fast momentum line. The soldiers got above the generals. Soldiers of the red line, generals of the dashed white line. I said to you, look, we're still not in a buy signal state. It's encouraging. If we see the soldiers come up through the blue line, the slow momentum line, that's the king and the queen, well, this thing can go up, up, and away. It did. It has. Almost at 880. Which, again, we divined by doing what? Going higher in time frame, looking at structures. Angel, I'm super happy to hear that. That's a great triple-digit profit on a trade that was crafted and identified in advance. Now, are we going to breach 880 and continue? Let's see. Above 8, the numbers will change as time and price move forward. 886 is a slow speed line on the hourly chart. Well, it looks like we've got to go one time frame higher now. So I'm going to bring that right over here. What's the 4-hour chart telling us? Where's the next resistance structure? 907. Slow speed line on the 4-hour chart, 907. So this 30 points, this 30, 25 to 35 points from here are expensive. Be very careful. Be very careful. Okay. Remember that this is still a very pervasively down signaled market. Nothing's really changed about that. Okay, the 1 minute chart's converted to a buy. Great. It's an oversold bounce. It led the 5-minute chart into a conversion of a buy signal state, and you'll see that. I've just had the triple S indicator exploded full screen on the left-hand side of your screen here. If I show you price, you'll see the down triangle. The up triangle. You'll see that we've come up and breached the MSR channel, the champion trend sell zone trail line, kind of like we were doing on the 1-minute chart here. It's breached it. It has not broken it. It's still signaled by one toolkit, the champion trend pack toolkit, as a sell. It's trying to evacuate that sell, and you'll see that that triple S indicator will come in usually quite early, right? It will give you that advantage of having some time on your side. So one that's, one doesn't need to be chomping at the bit. One should be measured and patient and recognize that you've got something solid on your side over here, which you do. And now we're seeing it breach the champion trend sell zone trail line on the 5-minute chart. We're in the upper half of the channel, and the narrative around the tool is trading as war. The red line is soldiers, dashed white line is generals, blue line is the king and the queen, the channel is geography. The lower half of the channel is homeland. The upper half of the channel is enemy territory. If we're going to go conquer enemy territory, campaigns are usually launched in the lower half of the channel. And up we go. And it's done fairly well. Just don't expect that if we've converted from a sell state on a 1-minute and a 5-minute chart, that the whole market's turned around. If we're going to turn around for hours, right, for half the session or even a quarter of the cash session, you need the hourly chart on your side. And we are very far away from that happening. Look at where the triple S indications are. I'll just make that full screen here on the left-hand side of your screen. Yeah, we've come from the bottom quadrant into the second quadrant, but we're a long ways away from getting into the upper half. And even if we get into the upper half, look at the narrative behind the tool, right? The campaign that was last launched happened here. Okay, this was on the 20th, right? We went up, right? Soldiers conquered the upper quadrant of the 4-quadrant channel, brought the king and the queen into the upper half for a victory tour. They're still trying to bring the king and the queen back home. The hourly chart is still telling you, don't, have some illusion about the market turning bullish over here at all, right? Capture little pockets on the way up. Sure. Use the tool to your advantage. Sure. But hey, if this thing's going to come back down again, that would be normal, right? If we see action take the triple S line on the hourly chart from quadrant 2 back into quadrant 1, back down to the lows we're going, very likely, maybe lower. So there it is. So I hope I did a half good job there explaining how to use the tool to your advantage on the way. And the orange ball. Okay, so Strange 1238. I see you're asking about the orange ball. The orange ball is part of the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit. Let me just make it super clear here. I'm just make the 5-minute chart full screen. Okay, so the Champion Trend Pack comes with 5 indications. The Champion Trend Indicator, which is the plaque. In this case, we're dealing with a sell zone plaque and a trail line. Okay, the Champion Cross Indicator, which is a faster acting part of the toolkit. And in order for it to be in a signaled state, it needs to be expanding on chart with the dot at the bottom of the main chart. So right now it's contracting, but the dot's still there. Okay, so the Champion Trend Indicator is still in force. Price action came up and perforated it on the 5-minute chart, did it again, but it hasn't gone away, right? The hourly chart is boss. It's still in a sell signal state. We just got a little oversold bounce. The 5-minute chart is at the behest of the hourly chart, right? The hourly chart says direction's down. 5-minute chart says, no, I'm tired of going down. I want to try to get back up on my feet and put my long pants on. It tried. Triple S helped us with long side trades up to target lines that we identified. You even heard me say going from 880 to 907, that's too expensive. I didn't trade it, obviously. I'm not interested in that. And one of the things that we know is that the Champion Trend Indicator was perforated, but it did not break. The trail didn't break. The orange ball. So by the way, when we have the Champion Trend Indicator on the last close bar with the Champion Cross Indicator and the dot of the main chart, we're in stage 1 of a sequence, in this case, a sell sequence. When we get wealth signal, we're in stage 2. When we get the breakout forecasters, we're in stage 3. When we have an absence of breakout forecasters for 2 to 3 bars, like we did here and here, and the speed lines, which are very fast acting moving averages, we have a bullish speed line cross in this case. We had an absence of 2 to 3 bars and a bullish speed line cross. The sequence is over. It can resume, but what happens when the sequence is signaled over? We typically go and test the last, the second, the third, the fourth last breakout forecaster. In this case, the fourth and the fifth are up for grabs because of how close the breakout forecasters were to lows. And we went up and tested, the last 5, a little more than the last 5, and that's so far it. We may be at the beginning of a resumption right now. And the indicator at the bottom of the chart, Leonard, is the triple S indicator. That's what I've been narrating on the entire session, right? So I've been narrating on that the entire session and providing insight on that the entire session. Going down to a 1-minute chart and then showing how it can convert us into a buy signal state on a 5-minute chart and what we could do with it. But all still under the umbrella and the big picture insight here that the hourly chart's still in a sell signal state. We've just had a little bit of an oversold bounce. Nothing's really changed overall. Have we started to get a little bit better footing? Sure. Now, if you want to learn more about the triple S indicator and you want to learn about the incredibly high probability pattern, the PTC pattern, the pre-trade conditioning pattern, come tomorrow. Okay, so come tomorrow to the session. And this is for you, Leonard, and for anyone else that wants to learn more about it. Come to the session tomorrow. It's at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific. And I'll put it into the chat. And you're welcome to join. So, and Siva, you're asking about it. I just put the link into the chat. Join tomorrow. It's a live session. Can't wait to see you there. And I'm going to be teaching you all the pieces of the tool. I'm going to be sharing with you multiple examples of the pre-trade conditioning pattern. And if you want to become a part of our Triple S student family, you'll have the opportunity to do so tomorrow. And there'll be some goodies that come with it, of course, as well. So you're more than welcome to join tomorrow. And look, if you just want to come and learn, because you're going to get me using the tool here in this room all the time as well, you're welcome. You're welcome. However you want to approach it, you're welcome tomorrow to join the session. And it should be in your chat and good to go for that link. So now what? We're past 11 a.m. The way that I operate the room these days is we do an intelligence briefing from 9:15 to 9:30, live fire from 9:30 to 11. And then from 11 to 11:30, what I want to do is make sure that I answer your questions. I want to provide you with a debrief of what happened, where we are, my outlook, answer your questions. And they could be questions down to administrivia. So it's all welcome here. Hey, Lem, it's my pleasure. The analogies and allegories, all good, right? If they make you smile, I'm happy. Okay, so I think I want to take a maybe 2-minute pause and just get a cup of green tea going for myself again, and then resume the session so we can do that. I don't know if I'd call myself a veteran. I learn every day. I learn, it's really easy to learn from mistakes if you're open-minded. It's harder to learn from wins if you're not open-minded. And typically people don't ask too many questions when things are going well. It's when things are not going well, questions are asked, right? That should be standard fare for a trader, right? And anytime something goes wrong, what did I do wrong? Okay. You can do everything right and still won't work out. We know that. It's a market, right? But if we get things dialed in to the point where we're using the tools right, we're following the rules, and you saw a live demonstration of the rules there and how well it worked, right? How well it worked to keep us out of shorts between 10:11 and 10:20, between roughly 10:10 and 10:20 a.m. Eastern time. It kept us out of shorts. we recognize that the tool was not coming down below the bottom of the channel and breaking down, right? Giving us a clear insight to say, stay away, not right now, not a good time. And we know that as we have come up through the blue line over here on a 1 minute chart, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for the rest of the day, but it can help that 5 minute chart get into a better spot. And it did. And now we're looking at that tool on a 1 minute chart, breaching through the center of that channel, back testing it, getting the 5 minute chart into a buy signal state, and getting us up off the mat to a couple of the targets that we identified. But we are, as we're going to be realistic, not optimistic, not pessimistic. We know we're in a well down signaled market. It's not a surprise that we're getting batted back down again. We have not unraveled as of yet. We're still holding the fast speed line on the hourly chart, which is sitting at around 786. So, and the ES is still holding up. So I'm not seeing enough trauma as of yet to say that, this thing has to come undone. I would still see this as consolidate to try and continue the oversold bounce. Whether or not one wants to take it at this day part is a different question. So there it is. Well, Wes, I'm happy to hear that. That's amazing, right? If the see, the say, the insight, and all that stuff starts to connect and it starts to feel right, write down what you did right. Write down what you learned. Make sure that you journalize it, or get a good tight description for yourself so you can go back to it, because the mental state that you're in is going to affect what you can recall and what you can remember, but the indication should help make it easier. Any indication or any indicative package, any system, any process, it's going to have lots of different ways to take trades, right? You have to come up with the menu that you like, and then you can choose what to eat off the menu each day that you like, that you're comfortable with. And the goal is to have a very small menu, right? The In-N-Out burger menu that was the original one, just a couple of different burgers and some fries. That's it. That very small menu. I don't know if their menu's expanded. I haven't been to an In-N-Out in a long time. And right now that this is making me crave a burger. Oh, geez. What have I done to myself? Now I'm starving. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what lunch has for me. I don't know yet, but let me take a quick breather here. I'm just gonna go grab a cup of green tea and get the show on the road again, and off we go. Oh, you meant like military? Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not a military veteran, but trading is war at the end of the day, right? It is a war within the wet matter in between your ears, mainly. Okay, folks, hang tight. I'm going to take a little pause for a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to go grab a beverage and get back on the horse with you. So stay tuned. I'll be back here, and have your questions ready because I'm going to start addressing them as soon as I come back. Well, hello there, everyone. I'm back here with you. Hope the break was sufficient. Ready to get back on the horse with you to take us into the end of our session strong here. And I hope folks have done well overall. There's always going to be days that are hard, even if you see others do well. So always keep the perspective of every moment in the market. There's an opportunity. There's a risk. And we want to find the setups that make the best sense for the individual and the individual's risk tolerance, and then take the trades that make the most sense. So I should be back and good to go AV wise. I'm just going to start scrolling through the chat right now and see if there are some questions. I think there are a few here, and I want to try to address any questions that you have. So feel free at will to ask what questions you may want. Okay. So George, your question was, with the S&P and the NQ out of sync, do you think the S&P will catch down to the NQ, or the NQ will catch up to the S&P? We're dealing with very divergent events, right? So geopolitics cooled off, oil's down, helps the S&P. Korea crashes, tech, semiconductors, AI stocks, overweight in the NQ are those plays. Down the NASDAQ goes. It's a tug of war, right? It's a tug of war. And I think the consistent thing between the two is that, look, we're in an oversold market that's trying to get back up off of its oversold condition. I'm coming up to a local high. I'm breaching the champion trend sell zone trail line on the 5-minute chart. I've got the PTC pattern getting ready to go on the 5-minute chart. I'm starting to get encouraged, right? What's the PTC pattern? Pre-trade conditioning, 3 triangles. We're left with an up for now. We don't know that it's engageable yet. We need to see 2 bars closing sequentially higher above the MSR channel on that 5-minute chart. Okay. And, it's impactful on a 5-minute chart. The 5-minute chart forecasts out the next 20, 90 minutes. So if this bar ends up closing above the top of the channel, which is, I've put the technical damage version of the MSR channel on. MSR stands for moving support and resistance. Top line, center line, bottom line was green, now is magenta. That means we've got technical damage right now, which makes technical signals less effective. But I know that I've got 1 triangle, okay, 2 bars of separation, it's not exceeded 6, another triangle down, and another one up on closed bars. So I've got the 3 triangles in play, which is part of the pre-trade conditioning pattern. But now, in order to engage the actual setup, I need to see 2 bars closing sequentially above the channel, or 1 bar closing above the channel. That's not the signal bar. 1 bar closing above the channel that has the double green dots below it. So it's encouraging. It's not good to go and ready to out of the box to be unboxed and taken just as of yet. Right now, the risks are still high. The good news is the 1-minute chart's in a buy signal. Good. Okay, double green dots are there. It's not part of the PTC pattern. This is just a long signal from Triple S. Champion Trend Pack came in. Champion Trend went live at 10:37. Champion Cross was live a little before that, as you can see. Range Breaker came in. Wealth Signal came in. Breakout Forecasters came in. And then we had an absence, right? 2 to 3 bars. No breakout forecasters. Bearish speed line cross. We went back and tested all of the breakout forecasters. And we're now in a resumption on the 1-minute chart. Okay, I'd like to see that resumption break local resistance and take me above the champion trend sell zone trail line on the 5-minute chart. So I can see what I want to see, or I can see what's there. And all I'm trying to do is see what's there, right? If you're a bull, you're going to see bullish things. If you're a bear, you're going to see bearish things. If you're just going to be realistic, you might just see what's actually there. And right now, it's just hang tight, right? If you're not in a trade right now, this is a wait. And Anka, I don't really use intraday headlines anymore to trade. I used to do that. Wealth Charts has got a great news feed as well, but I don't use the headlines. I use a layout that I've developed that gives me a really clean access to, what's going on with a variety of asset classes. So, to be productive on the answer to that question, I can share that with you. It's the Day Trade 2 layout. Let me just pop that up. And I'll show you where you can access it as well. There's a lot that goes on that layout, and apologies for the pause here. Just trying to get another layout going here, and I might be overtaxing my system. So sorry for that little glitch there, but it'll come back to life in just a sec. So that's what the layout looks like. There's a lot going on here. Bottom 2/3 of the screen are VWAP cones. So, direction of the dollar, direction of volatility, direction of yields and bonds, placement of the major indices against their daily VWAP cones. The month-to-date cones are up here. A little internal tool, the tick tool over here, that gives me some insight on whether or not that, we've got more bullish or bearish fuel available at a market level. Order and disorder tool here, the average true range tool, gives me an idea of, hey, if we're moving up, is it coming with less disorder or is it coming with more disorder? So we're moving up and the average true range line is rising. This is a disorderly rise. Those two usually don't go together well. It's going to end badly. And there's a lot to learn about it, but you can go to the hamburger menu. You can go over to the layout section, go over to premium layouts, and then scroll down and pull up the ZIAD day and swing layout. Think about the layout as a house, and there's rooms in the house. The room that we're looking at is going to be a dashboard, Day Trade 2, and you can utilize that at will. So we're now pulsing through. 907 is the next number, or that was the area that we looked at. I've missed my entry, but I think I can re-enter here. I want to go and double check this because this is a little bit of a haphazard entry for me. So I want to go and double check this. I want to go back to the 4-hour chart here and double check this and see where resistance is. It's at 910. So I entered not the best entry. Okay, not the best entry. It's still a profit positive trade. We're still in a sell signal state on a daily chart, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart. But we're above the speed lines on the 1-hour chart, eating into the champion cross sell zone. The triple S indicator on that 1-hour chart, look at what it's doing. I don't even need price there. Just want the indicator. It's trying to breach the generals. We're not above them yet. That's a challenge. So not a big surprise. On the 1-minute chart, we're in the uppermost quadrant. Hurrah. The hourly chart's the boss, though, right? The hourly chart's telling me, watch your back. And I'm going to flip it back to the 5-minute chart over here. And you can see that the champion trend sell zone trail line is breached. Is the PTC pattern engageable? No, we don't have even one bar closing above the channel. This might be the first bar that closes above the top of the channel. So this trade is early. It's early. And I did not catch it, ideally at around the 880, 886-ish area. I caught it at 907. Okay, now, if we continue to grind up and this 5-minute bar closes in a second now, it just closed. So that's the first bar above the top of the channel. And look at the second bar. It's already got double green dots. Look at what's happening with the trade. PTC pattern right there for you. Again, guess what I'm going to do when I have profit? I'm taking some. Is this trade likely going to run? Yeah. Where's the next resistance structure? Well, let's go look at the hourly chart. I hope Triple S students got that. I hope you got that. There we go. I'm going to pop up the 1-hour chart here. I'm just going to get the price action back on screen. Champion cross sell zone is at 28,000 and about 40 points. So we got about 90 points potentially to go. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart and see if there's anything in the way between here, 960 and 28,040 points. 28,020 points, bottom of the champion cross sell zone on the 4-hour chart. So technically this can be a 50 to, this could be a 70 to 90 point trade from where we are right now. Now, in order to confirm that the PTC pattern is in play, okay, even with a overwhelming set of sell signals on the daily, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, the pattern is a very high probability pattern. You've got your up triangle, your down triangle, your up triangle, not separated by more than 6 bars, minimum of 3 triangles. And then you want to see at least 2 bars closing above the top of the channel, or 1 bar with the double green dots. So we've had 1 bar close above the top, and this live bar has got the double green dots. It's not closed yet, so we don't know that it's in the bag, if you will. And even if it's in the bag, it's a setup, right? It's a high probability setup, but it's still a setup. There's no guarantee. It just tends to work out a lot more often than not. And you've heard my targets now, right? From 950 up to 820 to 840, 28,020 points to 28,040 points. And it's seemingly well on our way. I took a piece of the move already. I could re-enter the trade at will, but I hope that this is another live demonstration. This happens over and over again, and tends to happen over and over again, day in and day out during trading sessions for day trades that can last seconds, minutes, minutes to hours, hours to the day. And it happens over, the hourly chart that we looked at over the course of a day or days. And it can become a real ally to a trader. Did anyone catch that last long? I see Alex, you got 45 points. Good on you, my friend. Brian, you got it? I'm happy to hear that. Wes, you got it? Awesome. Karen, you got it. Freddie, you got it. Amazing. That's really good. I'm super happy to hear that. So the majority of the people writing in are SSS students, by the way. Just letting you know. Bob K, you got it? Good for you, my friend. I'm happy to hear that. That's amazing. And Stephen E, I see your question over there on the euro. It was, I'm not going to pull up the layout again right now. Let's catch up on that at noon on Wealth Charts. That'll make it a little less taxing on my system right now. Otherwise, it's going to be... Kurt, you got it? I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to hear that, my friend. So it looks like folks got that last trade by and large. Let's see who else got it. Johnny boy, you got the first push with me. That's amazing. Oh, the first push into the city, like this one right there. I'm guessing you're talking about, right? I got a little after that, but amazing. Great work. So Robo, you got it too. Well done. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of the folks that I know that own the SSS toolkit, have been around the block on it, do well with it. So that's amazing. And look, we're coming into the end of our time. It's not recorded, Albert, but tomorrow you can have another full lesson on this stuff. Right. And Gerardo, the differential on the speed lines, one is fast, one is slow. So the blue one is fast, the magenta or red one is slow. And there it is. Oh, you're saying, are you talking Central 10 a.m. or are you talking, you're talking Central? Yeah, probably, right? So that one right here is what you're talking about, probably, I'm guessing. In any case, you got it, which is great. That's cool, Johnny boy. I'm happy to hear that. Well, folks, look, we came in, and John G, well, I'm happy to hear that. Multiple SSS trades. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. And Mark S, you're saying you caught several with SSS as well. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. That's really good. The layout that I'm on, what's the name of this layout that I'm on? I'm just going to export the layout to you right now, right? So that'll make it easy. Because if you have the SSS tool, it'll be super easy. Let's just export the layout. And then you can move the charts around as you wish. You know, the way that I have the layout set up natively, it'll open up on a 1-minute chart full screen with the execution, but you can pull the charts to the side at will. So let me just get that layout code in there. Yoda, I just saw your trade there. Well done. Amazing. Amazing result. Kudos to you. All right, so you got the goods, folks. I hope it was a good day in the office. You can copy it out of the chat. If you're having any problems, just take a screen cap of it, and then you'll have to enter the characters. That would be the way to do it. So, folks, I hope that you had a great morning overall. It was a great morning on this side of the screen. You saw a successful trading morning again. You saw some great insight with high probability tools along the ride. And if you want to learn more about that SSS tool, well, join me tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a session tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing this normal morning session tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a dedicated session on this toolkit tomorrow. And you can access that session by registering at the link that's going into your chat right now. So join me there. We'll be doing some very tight examples on the pre-trade conditioning pattern, and a few other bells and whistles about the tool itself, and getting a little more into the weeds of it so that you can understand it from all angles. Then we're going to, of course, you're going to have the opportunity to join the SSS student family and get some goodies as well. So I'm hopeful that folks had a great morning overall. I'm looking forward to seeing you at that session tomorrow. So I'm not doing a regular morning session. It's going to start at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific. Go to becomeabettertrader.com/yes and get signed up. I think I need to change that picture of myself on the screen there. It looks, I look a little different now. But there we go. All right, folks. If you had a great morning, give me a lucky number 7 in the chat and we'll sign off. All right, folks. Looks like you had a great morning. I'm happy to hear that. Amazing. So kudos to you. I'm glad that you were able to take the time to be here. I hope it was fruitful for you. I hope you're able to learn and earn, or at least one or the other. If both, even better. We'll see you on the flip side. We'll see you tomorrow at this session at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific. It's not a recorded session. It's a live session. Can't wait to see you there, folks. Have a wonderful rest of your trading day. Wealth charters, we'll see you in a little bit on Wealth Charts at noon. All right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. What's the outlook? The outlook is a market that is still under a sell signal state that still has risk for the downside. But my bet is that you're going to see this oversold bounce try to build a base in the market. And I'm thinking we're going to see the FOMC push the market up, actually, not because of what they say or what they don't say. It's more about what they don't say, really. And I'm expecting something a little better from what Satya's company, Microsoft, puts out there in terms of how they're allocating money against the entire, scaling up of infrastructure that should give the market a little relief from what we're seeing in Korea and what we're seeing happen over here. So I'm expecting something positive after the bell tomorrow. More on that at another session. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for taking the time to be here. Bye for now, everyone.